Hey guys, this is part 3 on changing the brake pads on a Kia Sedona 2003. I just put the brake pads on, okay, and I ran into a little of, not a problem, but a difficulty issue in placing the back brake pad in place. One thing before I get to that, you really want to add the brake lubricant to these two parts, because this is where the friction will happen. This is where the brake pads will slide back to release, to distance themselves from the caliper and come back together to stop the caliper and then the wheel and then the car. Okay, so don't be cheap about applying the lubricant. Now let's get to the back caliper. So that's the top. Remember that little clip? That's definitely the back caliper. Put the bottom one in first, the bottom end, just like you did in the front. Okay, but then as you slide the top one in, this little clip, you're gonna have to push it down, because otherwise you won't fit in. So let me use the other one that I'll demonstrate to you how to do it with the one that will go on the driver's side. So as you push in this case, I think it was like this, but it'll go different on the driver's side. As you push it down, the bottom in first, slide the top. You see there's about a 1/16 of an inch gap. Well, you want to press it down and close the gap between this strip and the top of the brake pad. So close the gap as you will be putting in position back in place the top of the inner brake pad. Otherwise you will not go in. So as you will be performing that maneuver, remember, put the bottom one in, slide the top, and as you do that, press it down, and then it will slide in. I cannot see, it's really, I don't have a whole lot of space to look, but I just you know, through trial and error I figured that out. So it took me a few minutes to put it on, and only after I pressed this down, guiding myself by the old one, which, look how tight the gap is, it's pretty much fused to the caliper. Okay, and the new one has a gap, so you have to close that gap, push this down, and then remember, slide it in. Anyway, it'll be coming up part 4. Right now I have to put the caliper back in. That shouldn't be a problem. Sometimes you have to use a C-clamp to push back these those pistons. A C-clamp will look like this. Let me just find it right now. You need to get one if you don't have one. If you plan to do all these yourself, this is what a C-clamp looks like. Okay, so in case if this caliper doesn't fit right on these two, just use a C-clamp, start tightening it, push these back. You can use an old brake pad to cover these two, and then start squeezing it to push them back to make room, because if it doesn't fit, that's the only reason why this will not go right on top. It came off easy, but we'll see if I have a hard time putting it back on. And then just tighten these two, put the wheel back on. Remember, left loosey, right tighty. Now that the nut right here in the front will face you, but it'll be different here when you have to put the two bolts that hold the caliper in place. And there's one more crucial step. Once everything is back on, jack down the car, and we'll go in the driver's side and explain to you one more thing that you need to do before you even consider turning the engine on and head out of the car with the car. So we'll be back with a part 4. Thank you.